Welcome to episode 3. Every major technology in history has threatened jobs. Printing presses, factories, computers, they all triggered fears. But AI is different. AI undermines the source of professional confidence. Your knowledge, your experience, your judgment, your years of training. Here's the psychological punch. Before AI, you believed expertise was earned through time, practice, and credibility. After AI, a model can produce something similar in seconds. Even if that output isn't perfect, it disrupts the logic of expertise. It makes you ask, what is my value now? How do I stay relevant? What am I still better than a model? This is why AI anxiety cuts deeper. It challenges identity, not just tasks. Professionals don't fear hard work. What they fear is losing the ability to predict the future. We've always functioned on a simple mental model: study, then become expertise, apply it, then advance. AI scrambles that sequence. Suddenly, the most powerful predictor of career success is no longer time, effort, or experience, it's adaptability, it's judgment, it's your ability to think flexibly and make sense of unclear situations. This shift feels destabilizing because it removes the guardrails many people relied on. Your career used to feel like staircases. Now it feels a moving walkway. The walkway changes directions depending on what new technology drops next month. AI reshapes what it meant to be an expert. AI forces a new understanding of expertise. Expertise is no longer storing information, recalling facts, repeating processes, mastering routines. AI does all that instantly. So, what does expertise become? Expertise becomes asking sharper questions, validating outputs, adding human reasoning, understanding context and consequences, knowing what not to automate, translating insight into action, leading humans, not just producing content. In other words, AI doesn't reduce experts, it reveals who the real experts are. Because when everyone has infinite information, the person who can make sense of it becomes the one who leads. The identity shift professional must take. Across industries, the new professional identity is human in the loop. The most future-proof role is simple. Human in the loop, not the machine, not the model, not the automation pipeline, the human who evaluates, directs, and contextualizes. AI can expand your capacity, but only you can provide moral reasoning, context, sensitivity, long-term judgment, cultural interpretation, institutional memory, value-based decision-making. Machine scales output, humans scale meaning. Your job isn't threatened, your job description is changing. In the next episode, we're going to shift from mindset to practice. The next episode will cover questions like how to build a daily workflow with AI without losing your thinking skills, how to avoid the AI over-reliance trap, the simple habit that protects your judgment, how to stay sharp while using AI as a partner, not a crutch, and the one mindset shift that separates high-impact professionals from everyone else in the AI era. If the previous episode explained the belief system, and then this episode explored the psychological impact and mindset shift, the next episode will give you the practical playbook. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next episode. Welcome back to this episode. In last episode, we talked about the identity level shift AI forces. It doesn't replace your skill, it replaces certainty, and that shakes your confidence. Today, we go practical. I'm going to walk you through the actual habits, workflows, and guardrails that help professionals use AI productively without letting it hollow out your judgment. This is the episode that most people wish they'd had a year ago. Let's get into it. Let's be blunt. AI makes smart people mentally lazy fast if you're not carefully. If you always ask AI to think for you first, your intuition weakens. Your problem framing skill decay. You lose sensitivity to nuance. You become a passive consumer of answers. Your brain becomes a middle manager who just forward prompts. This is the real danger, not automation, but atrophy. This is the brain atrophy problem. The solution is simple and non-negotiable. Think, ask, verify, not ask, then accept. If you skip the first and last step, you lose your edge. There are 3 types of workflow you need. Every professional who uses AI effectively follows the same structure, whether they know it or not. I call it the three-step loop. You think first. Before asking AI anything, you outline what you want, what you already know, what your constraints are, and what your priorities are. Even 30 seconds of pre-thinking protects your judgment. And then AI expands, tests, or transforms your ideas. You will use AI to generate options, reveal blind spots, structure arguments, translate into formats, drafting outlines, simulate scenarios, prototype multiple angles quickly. AI becomes your accelerator, not your replacement. Then the last step, you decide. This is the part over-reliant users skip. You review, filter, evaluate, and choose. You are the final authority. You own the output. You apply your professional judgment. This loop keeps your brain in the driver's seat. So your mindset should shift from AI, tell me what to do, to AI, help me think faster so I can decide better. This one shift prevents 90% of over-reliance. Here are the habits that protect your judgment while increasing your output. Your daily AI habit or the practical toolkit. The first habit, do a pre-AI brain dump. Write down what you already think, already know, your assumptions, your initial hypothesis. Do it even if it's messy. This anchors your thinking before you let AI flood your brain. The second habit, ask AI to challenge you. For example, point out weakness in my idea. Give me the opposite argument. What variables am I ignoring? What would be an expert disagreeing? You stay in charge of the idea, AI pressure tests it. The third habit, separate drafting into decision making. AI can produce outlines, options, prototypes, narratives, research summaries, alternative structures, but you choose what lives and what dies. Don't let AI collapse idea generation and decision making into one step. And then the next habit comes naturally. Question every output. You should ask, does this fit my context? Does this AI output, what would I revise? What would my stakeholders push back on? What's missing? Would I sign my name to this? This habit keeps your analytical muscles alive. And then keep a human first skill you practice maybe weekly. Everyone should maintain at least one raw thinking activity. For example, writing, journaling, reading theory, framing research questions, interpreting data on your own, making sense of messy narratives. These raw thinking activities recharge the human ability AI cannot replicate. There is one belief that separates those who thrive from those who stagnate. AI is not the authority. AI is your collaborator. You're not trying to match AI. AI is trying to match you. Your career is not at risk as long as you think independently. You make decisions with context. You lead with values, not convenience. You use AI to amplify, not replace your reasoning. You maintain the ability to interpret complexity. You stay capable of explaining why. AI can provide answers, but humans provide meaning. That's the difference that still matters and will always matter. In this episode, we shift gears again. Now that we've covered psychology and practice, we're going to explore how AI shape and reshape power dynamics in institutions, why AI makes leadership both easier and harder, the politics of data-driven decision-making, and the future competences professionals actually need to stay influential. In the next episode, it is more about power, institutions, and who gains or loses influence in the AI age. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next episode. Welcome back to this episode. We've talked about beliefs, psychology, and daily practice. Today, we go deeper into power. AI isn't just a tool. AI is a redistribution mechanism. It reshapes who gets listened to, whose judgment counts, who controls decision making, who becomes replaceable, and who becomes strategically indispensable. If you work in a university, a nonprofit, a corporation, or a government, this episode will hit close to home. Let's dive in. Here's the uncomfortable truth. AI strengthens the hands of leaders who understand data and weakens anyone who can't speak the language of analytics. Not because they are less smart, but because they now appear less useful in a data-driven decision environment. If you want a seat at the table, data literacy is no longer optional. Let's be honest. Frontline staff deal with tasks, executives deal with a strategy. The middle managers sit in the tension between both, and that's where AI hits hardest. AI threatens many middle manager functions. The reporting, drafting, monitoring, coordination, reviewing routine work, producing summaries, synthesizing documents, communicating upwards. If a middle manager's job is mostly information relay, AI can do it faster, more cleanly, and without politics. This is why many mid-career professionals feel the most threatened. But here's the flip side. Middle manager who shift to sense-making, facilitation, conflict navigation, and value-based decision framing become extremely important. AI frees you from paperwork. It cannot free you from leadership. Now, influence comes from being the person who can interpret the data, who can explain implications, anticipate consequences, and who can guide teams through ambiguous situations, who frame problem clearly and who understand context better than any model. In simple terms, AI rewards clarity, not credentials, judgment, not seniority, interpretation, not production. This is new currency of influence. Institutions are developing a new type of influential role. I call them the interpreter class. The people who can translate between messy human realities and algorithmic outputs. Those people become indispensable because they serve as the bridge. They understand human behavior and data. They understand institutional politics and AI capability. They understand context and model limitations. They can tell leaders what the numbers actually mean. Here's the key insight. Power flows to the people who can interpret complexity, not the people who merely produce reports. If you've been in institutional research, policy analytics, or strategy, this is your moment. If you're not, you need to start building interpretative strengths now. The real future competencies are deeper. Analytical framing, knowing how to define the problem before you touch the tool, understanding the history, politics, culture, incentives, the things AI can't infer. Turning insight into meaningful decisions with consequences. Think of your career like a multi-layered portfolio. Your domain knowledge is your core expertise, and the AI literacy is the understanding of the tools, not just using them, and human-centered skills as empathy, ethics, and influence, and interpretive skills, which bridges data and human decisions. Adaptability, which is your ability to pivot as technology evolves. Each layer protects you from obsolescence. The more layer you have, the more irreplaceable you become. AI accelerates knowledge turnover. Your education doesn't stop at graduation. It's continuous, iterative, and intentional. Learn how AI models work, not to code them, but to understand capabilities and limitations. Update your domain expert regularly, follow trends in your industry, reflect on the ethical and social implications of AI adoption. Lifelong learner will always be ahead because adaptability is the ultimate advantage. Finally, think about purpose. Ask yourself, who benefits from my work? Does my work improve people's lives? How can I add value in ways AI can't replicate? Those who combine skills and human insight and purpose will define leadership in the AI era. Remember, AI is a tool, not a replacement for vision, judgment, or humanity. Across these 6 episodes, we've covered the first, AI use and limitations in daily life, personal autonomy and decision-making, emotional, social, and human value, power dynamics in organizations, how AI reshapes influence and leadership, and career strategies to thrive in AI era. Your takeaway should be, don't compete with AI, complement it. Build interpretive skills, human connections, and strategic judgment. Invest in adaptability, align skills with purpose. This episode is about turning knowledge into action. The next episode is yours. Start small, think strategically, and embrace the human skills AI cannot replicate. See you in the next episode.